Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on NewsFeed today.
But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
Well, maybe you won't be there much longer. Yamar and several other rich parents have just been charged with paying a bribe to get you in. A breakthrough in the case of the murder of Marielle Franco. Why hatred takes over logic. Why Microsoft Excel is being dragged into a disagreement over a laundry detergent advert. And Alfie the Alpaca, the latest odd house pet to make thousands smile on their daily Instagram scrolling. Now, top of the newsfeed today, CollegeGate. That's what social media is calling a scandal in the US over rich people paying bribes so their children of average intelligence can get into prestigious learning establishments. The actors Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin are among more than 50 people charged. The FBI say they've identified more than $6 million in fraudulent payments. Mary McCarthy is at the University of Southern California, one of the colleges caught up in the scam.
The scandal has already been dubbed CollegeGate, and it has ensnared some of America's most prestigious universities, as well as top names in Hollywood. Sports coaches at Yale, Georgetown, Wake Forest, Stanford, and UCLA, as well as right here where I'm standing, the University of Southern California, are facing charges. And the alleged ringleader of the scheme, a man named William Singer, has already pleaded guilty to charges which include racketeering, obstruction of justice, money laundering, and tax conspiracy. He was claiming to run a college counseling service, which it turns out was more of a bribery scheme. He's facing up to 65 years in prison and a $1.25 million fine. Well, here at USC, it's spring break, so not many students are on campus, but we did ask some students who are here for their reactions to the news.
I personally worked really hard to get in here, and I worked very hard ever since I've gone in here, so to know that people are here just based off of money is very discouraging to me.
I didn't realize how under the table it was. And yeah, I think it really does a disservice to the students who really do work hard, especially when they come from like low-income families and stuff like that. I don't think it's fair at all.
Among the dozens of people charged are 33 parents, and that includes the television actors Felicity Huffman, the former star of Desperate Housewives, and also Lori Loughlin of Full House fame. Interestingly, only one college administrator has been charged. That's because in most cases, the alleged bribes, which in one case were as high as $6.5 million, were not going directly to admissions departments. Rather, it seems that they were going to athletic coaches who are accused of having admitted students as athletes, even though they had no sports backgrounds. Investigators say that bribes were also given to administrators and proctors of SAT and ACT exams. Those are the standardized national tests that any U.S. high school student has to take in order to gain entry to a university. Test administrators and proctors allegedly, in some cases, actually took the exams on behalf of the students. In other cases, they changed students' answers or gave them extra time. It appears that in most cases, the students had no knowledge of what their parents were up to. This is being described as the biggest fraud case of its type in U.S. history.
As you heard in Mary's report, many students are quite justifiably upset with the news, especially since if you don't have millionaire parents paying your way into academics, you have to not only be smart enough to meet the grade, but you'll also likely end up with years of postgraduate loans that could reach the tens of thousands of dollars. So imagine also finding out that one of the kids caught up in the scheme barely made it to class.
I don't know how much of school I'm going to attend, but I'm going to go in and talk to my deans and everyone and hope that I can try and balance it all. But I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
Well, that is Olivia Jade, daughter of Lori Loughlin, who has 2 million people following her channel and touts sponsorship from Amazon and Sephora. She's since apologised for that comment, but it's clear her influencer ambitions outweigh her academic ones. And that's fueling more anger from people who didn't get everything handed to them for free. Here's a couple we picked out. Well, this first one sees this as an opportunity for political point scoring, saying the Democrats need to have a plan to try and fix the system that allows this sort of thing to happen. This one says they have no sympathy for those involved and goes on to say she tried really hard to get into college and then felt like others made her feel like she didn't work hard enough. And this last one challenges the schools involved to kick the students out and make them reapply for their places. Yeah, as if that's going to happen. The former England footballer David Beckham was pranked by James Corden and the internet enjoyed it.
We can go bigger on the chin.
Now, the joke was that Beckham's old team, the LA Galaxy, were going to unveil a new statue of him, and because the world has a history of terrible statues of footballers, the prank statue was, well, terrible. Beckham was not impressed. He gets all mardy, the statue is then knocked over, and then Corden reveals himself as the hilarious jokester some people love. All right, let's take a look at some of the other things that caught our eye on social media. Jussie Smollett says he was attacked by 2 men. The police say he's lying. And now they are charging him with 16 crimes related to each of the lies they say he told. The actor said he was assaulted by men wearing Make America Great Again hats who racially and homophobically abused him. The police say he paid the men $3,500 to stage the attack. The men involved say that too. And the police say that Jussie Smollett made the whole thing up to gain sympathy and increase his salary. Now, if you weren't able to access anything on Google a little while ago, you were not alone. Gmail, Google Drive, Hangouts, and even Google Maps were out of commission for hours around the world. Now it's been resolved, but some people affected by the outage thanked Google for the afternoon off work, while others suggested reactivating their very old Hotmail accounts. And just when I was getting used to not caring about the floss, another viral dance for me not to do is out there. It's called the triangle, and as you can see, you need 2 other people to be able to do it. That's another disqualifying factor for me, as anyone who asked me to do this with them would instantly be unfriended. The pineapple, delicious but notoriously difficult to eat unless your mum sorts it for you. Well, the internet is here to help. This video of someone peeling chunks off it has been viewed 19 million times, with most people saying, "Now you tell me." So now you know. And FYI, for this to work, you will need your pineapple to be very, very ripe. And unfortunately, unless you live somewhere where these bad boys grow on trees, you're going to struggle to do this with one from your local store. Next, Marielle Franco. She was a Brazilian human rights activist who was brutally murdered last year. Her story set social media alight for weeks as people all over the world questioned the circumstance of her death. Now they have some answers. Here's Adama.
Almost a year to the day of Councilwoman Marielle Franco's brutal assassination, any breakthrough in bringing her killers to justice almost seems to be the work of fate. On Tuesday morning, 2 former police officers, Ronnie Lessa and Elcio Vieira Queiroz, were arrested, suspected of the murder of Marielle in a drive-by shooting in Rio last March. She was shot 4 times in the head. Her driver, shot 3 times, was also killed. Following their arrests, automatic weapons, money and other evidence was seized at the house of a friend of Lessa. And prosecutors say the assassination had been planned for months.
It's important to find out who really killed Marielle, and not the one that actually shot the gun. Who really killed Marielle is the person that ordered the murder and planned it. Which political group in Rio de Janeiro is capable of killing someone with different political ideals? Why was Marielle killed?
There have been concerted efforts to keep Marielle's fight for inclusivity alive online. Her Twitter account is still active, and an array of hashtags linked to her death can be found throughout the social media sphere. New suspicions and questions are being raised, some recently linking Brazil's highest political office, the President Jair Bolsonaro, to the case. But investigators say this detail is just a coincidence. However, it is one amongst a few. Here is a photo of one of the suspects alongside Bolsonaro. It was posted on his Facebook page, but has now been deleted. And the other coincidence? Suspect number 2 lives in the same gated residential community as the president. Brazil is a country still grappling with a legacy of chattel slavery and racism. The case is therefore seen as part of a wider struggle for racial justice through campaigns like Black Lives Matter. Carnival, a festival steeped in indigenous African traditions, has this year acted as a platform outside social media to demand accountability for Marielle's murder.
As I march tonight, I'm making a gesture of activism. It's also a form of resistance, a way to demand that justice be done.
The arrests mark an important turning point in the investigation, but as of yet, Brazil still doesn't have the answer to a question that some feel should have by now been answered. Who killed Marielle?
Of course, that's a story we've covered extensively on NewsFeed, so if we ever get an answer to that question, who killed Marielle, we will, of course, bring it to you. All right, around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Wednesday. A man who was once a treasurer for the Catholic Church has been given 6 years in jail for abusing 2 13-year-old boys. George Pell is 77 years old and says he's innocent. The abuse began in 1997. Pell was the most senior Catholic Church representative in Australia. Xenophobes in India are so angry that a laundry detergent tried to promote religious harmony that they have inadvertently and ignorantly begun boycotts of a computer software whose name has the same 5 letters. The offended people have begun attacking Surf Excel detergent online for this advert, and now it's reported that Microsoft Excel is beginning to get 1-star reviews and be called anti-national. Now, the hatred these people are holding has blinded them into behaving like idiots. Unfortunately, thankfully, most people in India have rejected the hate. Italian authorities are taking a big step in ensuring that their children are kept safe. They are banning kids who have not been vaccinated from going to school. Vaccine hesitancy is one of the World Health Organization's top 10 health risks and has led to a huge spike in measles cases around the world in recent months. Staying in Italy, these pictures are of a newly discovered coral reef off the Adriatic coast. It's called a mesophotic reef. That term refers to an ecosystem that does not get much light. It's the first time such a reef has been discovered in these waters. And scientists say they've discovered a new species of killer whale. The pod was spotted off the coast of Chile and samples have been taken for further analysis. Now, Wednesday wisdom. There are a few different types of killer whale or orca known to science. The ones from the southern hemisphere have unimaginative names like type A, B, and this one, if confirmed, will be known as the rarely seen type D.
O great one who summons me, I stand by my oath, loyalty to wishes 3. I'm kidding. Watch this.
Yes, it is getting closer. This is the new trailer for the Disney live-action remake of the classic cartoon Aladdin. It has been widely mocked online for the way Will Smith looks as the genie. He's all blue. He says he will bring a hip-hop flavour to the role, whatever that means. Agrabah looks great. So remember that 80% of Americans think it's a real place. Jasmine and Aladdin also look pretty good. Now, some who watch this will be disappointed, though, that the trailer has no close-ups of the man the internet has been calling Hot Jafar.
Really?
And last up, our animals doing stuff is about a pet who's been bought by its owners to get likes. Now, this is Alfie the Alpaca. His owners put pictures and videos of him on Instagram, and now he has more than 188,000 people following his account. Video of him running through the park has apparently been viewed more than 15 million times. Now, alpacas are herd animals, and Alfie's owners have been told that keeping one chained up in the yard in the day and in the house at night is not ideal. But thankfully, for those concerned for Alfie's welfare, it's his owners' continual posting will mean that we can see what happens when Alfie is not so cute and he's not getting the likes his owners so desperately crave. That is all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter and YouTube, and you can follow me on Instagram. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.